Hello, welcome to the February 8th, 2024 Ribbon Library Board meeting. Any correspondence? Public comment? All right, minutes of prior meetings. Has everyone had a chance to review them? Any questions or updates? Someone would like to make a motion?
I move to approve the minutes from the January 11th, 2024 meeting.
A second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Great. Treasurer's report.
Hold on, I just had an update. Give me a second.
Yes.
All right, MMDT is $4,793.41. State aid is $21,539.45. The gift fund has $17,968. The building fund has $26,667.24. We still have the extra grant payment, which was $686,044. And the Barth month ending statement value is $1,560,198.88.
Thank you. Friends report.
Okay. Big news is the cookie sale on Saturday. So 10 o'clock to whenever the cookies run out, I think. So if you want to buy cookies, so they've put out the call for bakers. So if anybody did not get the call, wants to bake something, we can bring it back tomorrow afternoon or Saturday morning. Other than that, they have had 17 new members so far this year. And a few larger donations. May have mentioned this last time, but the income from the holiday bazaar was just over $1,100.
It's pretty good.
They had 10 Santa letters this year, so not a huge money maker, but a nice service. Yeah,
That's surprising. That seems lower than usual.
I don't know how it compares.
I think they also got out the ad later than all.
And then a lot of info. So that is coming soon, March 15th and 16th. Katrina and Susan Harvey are working on sponsorships. Just all of the planning details. I don't know how in detail you want to go on that. Not really. Okay, they're planning mini golf. That's what I wanted to write.
Dirigibles submitted their application for the day.
Okay. So then,
Just this week. So
and tickets will go on sale.
I think they just went on.
Oh, they just went on sale. Okay, so tickets are on sale.
Where is that public? I didn't.
It is on the Facebook pages currently. I think it's going to be sent through the various email groups and channels as well. And that'll be posted on various sites. I know last year, we were allowed to send it through the townwide distribution list. We have a new TA this year. Do you think that's something you could ask if that would be okay?
Sure, he's on vacation this week.
Yeah, we have time.
And then they're planning a membership newsletter, sort of a newsletter to go out hopefully by March 1st.
Is that only to third members or like
That is a
no?
townwide. I believe that's townwide.
I don't know that I don't know if that's so far. I don't do anything.
So that one they're talking about is, I think, a like actual mail, post office mail thing to the town. And
Basically, I think they moved to like an annual like calendar year membership. So they've been trying to review in January.
yeah. And then they will be planning staff appreciation luncheon in May. For the library store.
Great.
Okay, building updates.
So we have 5 broken children's room chairs, but I think parents have been sitting on them. They're not meant for parents.
They have been.
So they've been splitting again. So slowly. So anyway, Diane showed them to me and, so I contacted Tucker Library Chairs. They're the company that provided us with the chairs and they're actually under warranty. So they're going to replace them. Something's actually in warranty. So, yeah, so they sent the request to the factory and the factory is supposed to send it to us.
Awesome.
And then,
Before we get off the subject of chairs, just, is there, to prevent that going forward, should there be some bigger chairs for adults in the?
oh, we're gonna just, well, there are plenty of chairs.
There's plenty of
and
chairs,
It's
you're
just
just
that
missing
we have to educate the parents about not sitting on chairs that are not their size.
That feels like an awkward conversation.
Can you like label them like child only or something? I mean,
Yeah, Diane and I are gonna work.
Figure it out.
Okay. We don't want anyone to get hurt if a chair breaks on them.
So that's.
Sorry, go ahead. What was the other thing?
that's-
Only the chairs.
Only the chairs.
Well, that's
When you started with the number 5, it was a little concerning, but I'm glad it's just.
It's so nice to have just one thing on the building. Director's report.
Sure. So I presented the FY25 budget to the joint meeting of the Select Board and Finance Committee on January 29th. There was some confusion about some stuff, but it got figured out. And so the meeting went well. I didn't receive any challenges to anything, so things can go well. We held an all-staff meeting on February 6th. Michelle, I believe, from the Massachusetts Library System came and she trained the staff on how to handle de-escalation of aggressive patron interaction. So we haven't had anything huge happening in the library, but there are some patrons that maybe have something going on. And so we just want to know, so Michelle talked to them about how to understand the background of that, why they might be going through things, why patrons might be going through things. You know, they might be, maybe they had a bad day, or maybe there's something that's going on. We don't know. That's the point. We never know. So she taught us how to talk to them and how to understand them and how to de-escalate a situation if it comes up. Yes.
Do you have something kind of documenting that so that if you, have anyone use it?
So everybody
Terrific.
got a booklet.
And I have one around if it's future stuff in there, or just there.
And then after the meeting, we had a regular staff meeting and Jean informed us that she will be retiring on October 1st. Yeah. So
Happy for her.
Yeah.
The town received 30 applications for facilities manager position. So right this week, we were all looking over the resumes and kind of submitting our choices. And then the plan is to start interviewing them soon, hopefully next week. And we also received 10 applications for our vacant library assistant position. And Mike and Julie and I have been reviewing them, and we are working on choosing some applicants to interview as well. So maybe interviewing a lot next week.
A rise in applicants for open positions. Are you finding that you're getting more candidates now?
I think we've always gotten a lot of candidates.
Okay.
Yeah.
What do
For
you
that.
think the change was for the facilities? How did that end up being more?
30 was the
30. It was about that the last time.
Okay.
Yeah, it was like 25.
Okay.
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 Rise. Good.
One person sent a 17-page resume.
Oh,
I've never seen that before in my term.
that's,
That
you're not
sounds just
supposed to do
enough.
that. Yeah.
And it has a picture on it. It was- No.
I like the picture ones. More of those.
I don't mind that. That one had 17 pages.
It is a new thing, I think.
Really?
Actually, not so good.
Like a little picture, big picture, with a little picture.
Yeah, it was one.
See, we've seen that a lot of. It's interesting.
Send out resumes, so-
Well, actually, in some ways it makes it harder, right?
Yeah.
Anyway, yes, that's a side conversation.
So, yeah, so that's it. The rest of the financially, we're pretty much on track for the year. Guys, the statistics, so any questions?
With Dean's position, how far out do you anticipate developing? First of all, figuring out what role it is exactly that you want to fill, if it's another, if it's exactly her role or a different role, and then when you would start developing that and then putting the request in.
Yeah, so I've been thinking about that. Unfortunately, I wish they told me a little earlier before we submitted the budget. So, yeah, I'm gonna work with Mike to figure that out. But we'll probably do it about a month or two ahead of out, just to make sure that she definitely has come to her. and then go from there. But I'm working on figuring out whether or not I want that to be the same position
Right.
or not, but that means changing budget
Potentially.
potential.
Yeah. Okay. Any other questions? Okay. Okay, old business. Right under scholarship up there. You want to say,
It's only one applicant so far.
I sent out the message to everyone we talked about last time, which is to say, all of the principals and the, class advisors and the counselors, and we put it on Facebook and the PTA and did it, we did all the things, and then Parker and Neshoba Tech both have it now, so. That's all, you know. So anyway, I did look into, we had talked about, going to the National Honor Society meeting. It sounded like their agenda was really tight. It was today and the agenda was super tight. So I just asked her to mention it to them. Yeah. So that's where we are with that. Westlake plans.
I've always had applications like literally the day.
That is what I'm hoping.
And so
I also plan to follow up with these people like a week before also, so.
in March, right? Like,
Yeah.
March.
March
1,
2nd or 3rd or
2nd,
something.
3rd.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Any other questions about the scholarship? Okay, any other?
So we're reviewing any applicants in the March meeting.
Yes,
Okay.
And they will come,
when we ask them to.
okay.
Yeah, we'll figure that out when we see how many, I think when we see how many we have. I don't know, do they come the same day that we review them or do they come to another one?
I think we've always done it here. in the
Right.
past.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When do you need to have them confirmed? Did we state a date where they will know by? I don't want to hold them out from looking
Yeah.
for other positions or scholarship
Yeah, let me look and
opportunities.
see.
That would require time to volunteer, especially if they're saying.
We didn't say when we would let them know. We just had that the deadline's March 1st and that they have to, the time is between May 1st and August.
Our March meeting is,
March,
Was that the-
we got that, yeah. So
that-
that does give us enough time to review.
yeah,
And
we can certainly
have
look
them come.
over them.
Yeah,
Yeah, we could do it
Yeah.
at the meeting.
yeah. Okay, let's plan on doing that.
It's a quality applicant so far.
Yeah, it is.
I can endorse that one.
We've all known her since she was. Okay. New business. Sam, you want to just give us an update on kind of where the photo and videotape policy was coming from and what you've decided for now?
Sure.
And
So,
then maybe the policy committee can say something if they'd like to about having reviewed it.
so the policy came out of really just an effort to protect the staff and patrons. Unfortunately, I also feel like the policy will just add fuel to the fire. So, so at the staff meeting, this was topic number one that we talked about, and overall the staff agreed that we should put it on the back burner for now. We should keep it as a possibility if it's become something that is a problem, but for right now, they feel like they can handle it, and we're going to work on creating new strategies together to deal with it in the future. But as of right now, we just want to sort of keep this in the back pocket just in case.
And just as a kind of little bit of background on a policy like this, I have, having attended the webinar on the First Amendment audits, they don't recommend a policy like this at a library our size, and only a couple of libraries that are very, very big have adopted policies like this.
Right, yeah, so that's where it came from. I also had spoken with HR that Michelle talked to me about it. And we had town council take a look at it, and we had another, I think HR uses a different legal service. So they also looked at it and they both thought it was fine. They just felt like it might add fuel based on how this person acts. So.
Good. And I know that go ahead. I know the policy committee looked at it, individuals and stuff like that too, so.
I know that and I would agree with you. I think that's the same conclusion that we came to. I don't want to speak for the whole group, but that this would end up being fuel to the fire. One of the questions we had is that if this policy were enacted down the road even, does this have teeth with the police? Like, because this policy existed, we give it to the guy's like, well, it's Justin Trump for First Amendment or whatever else. Would the police actually be able to escort him off grounds?
Yes,
Okay.
yes, the federal courts have said that it's fine.
Okay, so they
So,
could end up being
yeah.
removed ultimately.
Yes, but that's why I think that was just be what he wanted anyway, so. So. We'll see.
Right. Okay. And then when you guys reviewed kind of what went awry or what didn't feel, not awry, but like what didn't feel good when he did come in and film, was there feedback when you guys debriefed that, like what you would have done differently or what?
So I wasn't there, Mike was there, but from what I've heard from the staff, they felt like it was something they could handle. They didn't. They're just, sad about how he treated the patron. That wasn't right, but other than that, they felt it was something beyond anything they could handle.
And specific to that, do you feel like you had a plan to deal with if and when they talk to patrons that either didn't get followed or could have, or do you have a plan for the future? Like what happened there? Right.
Yeah, so our plan was to kind of go around and talk to the patrons, and we did. It worked down here. I think upstairs we just kind of missed some people, but the plan has always been to either go around and talk to people or maybe slip a piece of paper saying, this person's here, they're allowed to film.
But by the time it had already started, I think that was when she had complained. So it was just sort of bad timing.
Well, it was like many, many minutes in.
Right.
Yeah.
But we're not watching every patron to see what they're doing.
No, just wondering whether or not like.
So we couldn't go
Going
around and tell everyone because they had already started. We didn't know. Or I didn't know at least. I don't
I
know.
think that was a question
Yeah.
for me. So and it's easy to Monday morning quarterback, and I hope that the feedback is taken in the spirit of what it's intended, which is just to kind of understand where we grew. What it looked like from the video, and I know the video may not tell the full story, is that they did a loop out by the front windows and then parked themselves by the meeting room. I don't know which meeting room we were in.
Saga.
By Saga. And then kind of parked and were, filming around there in direct line sight of checkout or circulation. And we're standing there for about 45 seconds to a minute, somewhere like between a minute-ish, just standing there kind of circling in one spot. And they were talking, saying we can set up shop here, we can kind of get a view here, we can do this, but not moving at that point, which gives circulation a good minute to alert you, Mike, if you were the admin on duty, to kind of start to talk to the other patrons there. And that seemed like a missed opportunity. And then the team kind of came out, and then there was another 30 to 45 seconds before there was any interaction with her. And that's when she approached him and said, why are you filming? That's not okay. And then that was, off to the races at that point, and she didn't do anything wrong. All three of us, when we were looking at it, said we would have done the same thing potentially. And then the other woman stands up, well, you shouldn't be filming here. And then that's the hook that they were looking for. But it seemed like we had, again, it was almost 7 minutes in where there was someone with video cameras walking around the library that would have had to pass circulation to get in to do in the first place. And then at least a minute, if not more, standing stationary right in front of circulation, visible to circulation. And so that's where on the outside looking in, the question is, so what happened in those moments that Mike wasn't notified to be able to kind of start alerting patrons if that's the plan?
Yeah, so like I said, we're going to work on creating strategies that will make sure that we catch it sooner, and that staff alert either myself or whoever is the admin on duty to,
I thought that was rolled out. I thought that had been decided the last time we talked about it. Was it not rolled out to staff yet, or?
They weren't told to do that, and I don't know if they just didn't notice him or if there was just, I don't know what, but they were informed to do that.
Okay.
Yeah.
So then with all due respect and not to be an asshole, that's a pretty significant concern if you're not noticing two people with a camera, just in terms of two people with a bomb, two people with an armed intruder, two people with like that stuff. And I know there's been a lot of training in the library to kind of use tools like that. But if you're not noticing, then you're missing some pretty significant pieces. So I think that like in doing whatever your process is around like an internal investigation without making anyone feel bad, like how was that missed? Because it's hard to miss at that point. Because at one point they also swerve. The guy with the smaller camera, I don't know if it was a cell phone or not, swerves to the other camera. It was a sizable camera. So I don't understand how that was missed per se, for that significant amount of time. And I think there's some accountability there around, what the process is and who's just awareness of keeping a building safe that's not locked. Especially when all the other policies and procedures come in. And I think that's where, to me, that fell shorter more than a policy that you can come in like throw a piece of paper to, because that's where safety starts. When you look at Alice or armed intruder or like any of the other policies around that stuff, that's where it starts. It's just awareness of what's going on. And it seemed like, and then again, we immediately see Mike out there and he's starting to talk to people, and but if he can't do that part, if he's not notified, so again, Monday morning quarterbacking never feels good, but that's what this looked like.
Yeah.
Then the other comments on this piece were, again, if town council's approved it, then by all means, but the other part of this is this policy reads that as soon as you set foot in the library or attend an event, you're giving up all rights of your likeness. And we don't remember, and we might be wrong, but we don't remember any other policies written for the library that say that if you attend an event, you're condoning or giving consent for your likeness to be used at any time in the future from that event. And then I think there's a slippery slope in here potentially of if you're dropping off at the event and you happen to be photographed, are you okay with that being okay, used ongoing, versus at the event? But this is pretty significant that if you're in any event at the library owns your likeness and can use it for anything. Which seems very separate from, we don't want someone else coming into video. I think real strengths in here that we thought was that you can apply for, filming within the library. That seems to make a lot of sense. And putting the impetus on other people to get permission if you're filming. So like if I'm filming Kimberly, in the library, then I have to get Kimberly's permission before I post or things like that. Or if Kimberly's in the background of the picture, that's on me to make sure before I post. But I think the group as a whole, and correct me if I'm wrong, felt like we were giving up a lot of rights by just even walking into the library if we're photographed, and that didn't seem aligned with other policies or like even a room rental policy or something like that. So if that's what we're going for with this, it seemed like that opens up a can of worms to kind of look at the other policies we have agreed to.
I'm curious. Thank you, Wendy, for all of that. I really appreciate it. And I'm glad that you're going to start figure out what happened there and what you can do next time. And we're absolutely not only would we like to know, but we are also here to be sounding boards and to give feedback as well on that. I hadn't really thought about that. It was something I worried about with the person who was in the video, is that she's underage and did not give permission for her face to be all over. And I understand it's a limited public forum and that is just what happens. But I'm curious about if MBLC has dealt with anything that's like that before, that has to do with your likeness being used. Not necessarily in the form of the audit, but just in general, what rights do libraries have to people's faces when they're in the library?
It's kind of curious, especially when you put it that way, about there is a library privacy policy. So it'd be interesting to see how these overlay and interplay, because I think that's something we need to consider if we're going to use something like this. I want to make sure that it doesn't conflict with our other current policies. And then also I'd love to know if the current policies that we have, like the behavior in the library, there are some others that kind of scoot around this issue, if they have enough teeth in them to give you guys some, if things got to be very disruptive.
If they do, they should. We should.
That's what I'm saying. Do we have current policies right now that on our next review or whatever piece we want to look at them with this in mind? Is there enough beef to them so that those could be used for if things got really out of control?
And MBLC has done a lot with that and brought in lawyers for that too, to talk about what is construed, what is disruption, right? Yeah. And disruption of what? How does that, what are the things that are integral to the library that disruption? If the disruption occurred, it would mean that these things are being disrupted, right? So they have a lot of that information. I can go back and look at that also. I will talk to MBLC about the likeness issues and the privacy policies. Now I'm just curious. Also, I think we should deal with it. And also about the, disruption.
Instruction.
Yeah. Anyone else? Anyone have anything?
I will say the staff seemed to handle it, like on video, talking to him, like everyone seemed to be able to just work through it.
Yes.
Impressive.
Julie and Tracy did a good job.
Yeah.
Just going with the flow. That part. Not the, yeah. Okay. Any other thoughts or questions or comments? Okay. Let's go on to library trustee open houses. As we know, sadly, Wendy is leaving us. And we're hoping to find a trustee. Well, I mean, we're hoping a trustee just shows up, honestly. Just like runs and, but we've done a little bit of, we put some things on Facebook and library emails, things like that to try to encourage people. Ideally try to find people who are not just like all of us. Would be great. Katrina and I did a little open house yesterday from 1 to 3. We're doing another one tomorrow.
Like a Q&A. We had a
Q&A,
people come
yes.
and ask us.
That's what that is.
We realize that people just don't even know what the role actually means and would mean for time commitments and what things they are in charge of covering and what is the staff's responsibilities. So we were trying to make sure that was part of the discussion.
Yeah. So we talked to a few people yesterday. We have 2 more. One is tomorrow. No, still not Friday. One is Saturday from 10 to 11. And one will be Mira and Katrina on Tuesday from 6:30 to 8, I want to say. That's right. Yeah. Yep. As well as just, I know I've reached out to all of you as well, if you know anybody that you think would be a good person to run.
I heard from my hairdresser
Yeah.
that somebody who was in previous, she knows I'm on the board, and she said, well, somebody said earlier, it's a different library board, and I knew you were gonna, well, say great.
Terrific.
I mean, I haven't.
No, I didn't
What
see
do you
it.
guys do? What do you work for me?
Awesome.
Yeah.
Good taste in hair.
There might be, they'll be very strange, but there might be like a contested election for library.
Yeah, the 2 people we spoke to are both interested. That's cool.
Not something I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Not for a
That's what
while.
they asked. To be like, no, that's never happened. That came along, remember? Okay. Any other business? Nope. Okay, well, this is gonna be a very short meeting. Trustee updates. Anyone want to share anything?
I'm baking cookies for the bake sale.
Excellent, yay.
Left them on my counter.
I've been working on mini golf.
Yes.
And I just got a wonderful update from Diane in the children's room. It was really nice to see the new computer, the mural being sketched on the wall. There's lots of fun things in there. Yeah.
Oh, I did have a question for the other business.
Oh.
It's just a question. I saw on the select board agenda that they're looking for a building custodian. That seems separate from, they're looking to improve a position for a building custodian. Do you know any about that? Okay, anyway.
On the agenda?
On the agenda, yeah.
I'm still not getting this.
Okay. I also had a meeting with the TA, the new town administrator. We talked about a number of things. And I just wanted to check with you. Have you had a one-on-one meeting with him yet?
Yeah, a couple weeks ago.
Okay. How did it go?
Well,
Okay. Was there anything you brought up that's like library advocacy?
to be honest, it went kind of quick.
Okay.
Yeah, so it was okay, but it was a quick meeting. And then we had an all staff meeting.
Okay. If you need any of us to advocate for something on your behalf or or have your back for something, just know that we now have a connection and we will do that for you. Yeah. Okay. Anything else?
I'm working on winter reading. I've got my.
Yay, good for you.
Yes, I'm struggling.
Nice.
Our goal is just to take Sarah down.
Okay, well, with my bingo card, so you might.
Here and I have teamed up.
I'm gonna step up.
Okay. I suppose if that's it, our next meeting is on March 14th. Take a motion to adjourn.
Tuesday was the 7th.
No, I was reading the calendar.
Oh, okay, I was like.
Because I forgot that 14 aren't on the first Monday or first Thursday.
course, it's something.
I move to adjourn.
My second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.